Every morning, your mind wakes before your body. If you do not guide it, it will wander. If you do not train it, it will serve fear, noise, and distraction. Today. Remember these 5 simple rules. They are not loud. They are not dramatic. They are calm, strong, and steady. When you wake up each morning, your mind is quick to reach outward. It looks for news, messages, problems, memories, and fears. It tries to grab everything at once. This is where focus is lost. The first task of the day is to pull the mind back to what truly belongs to you. Your control is small but powerful. It begins and ends with your own thoughts, choices, and actions. Everything else sits outside your command, no matter how much energy you give it. You cannot control how others behave. You cannot control what they think of you or how they speak to you. You cannot control traffic, weather, delays, mistakes from yesterday, or events that may happen tomorrow. Fighting these things is like pushing against a wall that does not move. The effort only tires you. A focused mind does not waste strength on battles it cannot win. What you can control is how you respond. You can choose patience instead of anger. You can choose effort instead of excuses. You can choose attention instead of distraction. This choice is always available, no matter the situation. Even when the body is tired and the day looks heavy, this inner control remains untouched unless you give it away. Each morning, remind yourself that your focus follows your judgment. If you judge something as important, your mind will chase it. If you judge something as unimportant, your mind will release it. Many people suffer not because of events, but because they label every event as urgent or personal. A calm person learns to pause before reacting, to decide what deserves attention and what does not. When a problem appears early in the day, ask yourself one simple question. Is this within my control right now? If the answer is no, then there is no reason to give it space in your thoughts. Thinking about it will not fix it. Worrying will not change it. Complaining will not soften it. Let it sit where it belongs, outside your inner circle. If the answer is yes, then act. Do not delay. Do not overthink. Take the next reasonable step and give it full effort. Focus grows stronger when action follows clarity. The mind trusts itself when it sees that it can act where it has power. This rule protects you from emotional noise. Anger often comes from trying to control people. Anxiety comes from trying to control the future. Shame comes from trying to control the past. None of these can be changed by force. The focused mind accepts reality as it is and works only with what is present. Control your morning thoughts, and you control the direction of the day. If you begin by blaming, worrying, or wishing things were different, your focus will scatter. If you begin by grounding yourself in what you can do right now, your mind becomes steady. This steadiness is not weakness. It is strength that does not shake. Discipline starts here. Not with strict rules or harsh pressure, but with clear limits. Know where your power ends. Know where it begins. Stay within it. A person who respects these limits moves with calm confidence. They do not rush. They do not panic. They do not beg life to be easier. By focusing only on what you can control, you stop being pulled in every direction. Your attention becomes sharp. Your energy stops leaking. Your actions become deliberate. This is how the mind becomes quiet without being empty, strong without being rigid, and focused without strain. When you begin your day, it is natural to hope for ease, comfort, and smooth progress. The mind, however, is often unprepared for reality. Life does not guarantee simplicity, and expecting it to be gentle only leads to frustration. Each morning, it is crucial to remind yourself that difficulty is normal. The day will bring obstacles, interruptions, and challenges, and this is not unusual. It is simply the pattern of life. Preparing for it early does not make the day harder, it makes it manageable. When the mind expects friction, it meets it with calm rather than surprise. Challenges come in many forms. Some are small and immediate, like a spilled drink, a missed message, or a delay in your plans. Others are larger, more personal, or even invisible, like a harsh word, a misunderstanding, or a sudden responsibility. The mind that resists these realities suffers twice. First from the event itself, and second from its unwillingness to accept it. Expecting difficulty does not mean seeking hardship or imagining doom. It simply means acknowledging that life will test patience, effort, and endurance. Accepting this early keeps the mind steady. Difficulties are not enemies, they are teachers. Each challenge forces you to act, to adapt, to choose wisely. When you accept that setbacks will happen, you stop reacting with panic or resentment. Instead, you observe, plan, and respond with thought. When a problem appears, it does not knock you down, it reveals how prepared your mind is. The person who expects difficulty moves through it deliberately, like a traveler walking carefully over rough terrain, each step intentional, each decision measured. Morning is the time to practice this mindset. When you rise, you set the tone for how you will perceive the world for the rest of the day. If your first thoughts are of ease, of wishing the day were simpler, the mind becomes fragile. When trouble comes, it crumbles under pressure. If your first thoughts are of readiness, of accepting that obstacles are part of the journey, the mind becomes resilient. Resilience is not born from comfort, it is forged in the understanding that the path will not always be smooth. Prepare mentally for the moments when people act unreasonably. Prepare for the moments when tasks seem impossible or events take longer than expected. Prepare for the moments when your energy fails. This is not pessimism. It is realism. A person who accepts the inevitable struggle does not waste energy fighting what cannot be avoided. Instead, they focus on what they can do, on the decisions they can make, on the work they can complete. Accepting difficulty early allows energy to flow toward action instead of frustration. The mind that expects challenge is also less controlled by fear. Fear grows in the soil of surprise. When a problem emerges suddenly, the unprepared mind imagines worst-case scenarios, often far worse than reality. But when difficulty is expected, it does not shock. The mind meets it with observation first, judgment second, and action third. This order is critical because it keeps emotions from leading. Fear, anger, and impatience have less influence over a prepared mind, which acts calmly and steadily. Every morning, remind yourself, discomfort, resistance, and delay are normal parts of life. They are not signs of failure, and they are not punishments. They are the world as it is. The mind that refuses to see this will always feel betrayed. The mind that embraces it will move through the day with strength. Preparation is not about predicting every problem, but about cultivating a mindset that can handle any problem. The person who expects challenges does not stumble. They do not collapse under difficulty. They navigate it, respond wisely, and continue with steady effort, allowing obstacles to teach rather than destroy. Each morning, the mind is full of potential, yet it is also restless. It wants to chase many things at once. Messages, plans, tasks, worries, and desires all demand attention. This is the nature of the mind. It spreads easily, like water poured onto sand. When you try to do too many things at once, focus is lost, effort is wasted, and nothing is completed well. To prevent this, each morning you must choose one task that matters most. Not 5, not 10, not a list scattered across the day. One task, fully attended to, brings order to the mind and strength to action. The principle is simple. The mind performs best when concentrated. Every task, no matter how small, requires a certain amount of attention. When that attention is divided, the quality of work drops, and the mind grows fatigued. The scattered mind becomes anxious, impatient, and frustrated. By choosing one task first, you allow the mind to flow into it fully, giving it time, care, and effort. This does not mean the rest of the day disappears. It means that what is most important receives the focus it deserves before the mind is burdened by distractions. This approach requires discipline. The mind naturally wants variety and novelty. It resists repetition and routine. It is drawn to urgent messages, notifications, and minor interruptions, all of which seem important at the moment. A person who chooses one task must resist these temptations, even if they appear urgent. The discipline is not harsh or painful. It is simply a decision to honor what truly matters before reacting to everything else. Every morning, this choice reinforces control over the mind. Start by deciding what task carries the most value. It may be something that contributes to a long-term goal, something that improves your skill, or something that serves your duty. Whatever it is, commit to completing it without interruption. Give it your full attention, as if it were the only thing in existence. When the mind practices this repeatedly, it strengthens the habit of focus. distractions lose their grip and clarity becomes natural. Doing one thing well is also an antidote to anxiety. When many tasks crowd the mind, it becomes difficult to know where to start. Thoughts bounce from one responsibility to the next, leaving a restless, uneasy feeling. By narrowing attention to one task, the mind gains a sense of progress and mastery. Each step is deliberate, each moment purposeful, and each small victory builds confidence and composure. The mind learns that effort directed steadily produces results, unlike scattered effort, which produces frustration. This rule is not limited to work. It applies to personal habits, relationships, and self-improvement. Even in conversation, giving full attention to one person or one thought is more effective than dividing focus across multiple concerns. The habit of single-minded attention trains patience, persistence, and awareness. It creates a rhythm where the mind works naturally and calmly, rather than reacting to chaos and distraction. Morning is the perfect time to establish this practice. The mind is fresh, relatively free from fatigue, and capable of clear judgment. Starting with one meaningful task sets the tone for the rest of the day. Completing it brings a quiet satisfaction, a sense of achievement, and a steady rhythm that carries forward. The habit grows slowly but surely, creating a mind that is disciplined, focused, and resilient. To do one thing well is to respect your energy and your time. It is to honor the fact that attention is finite, effort is precious, and results are built through concentration. When this principle is followed daily, the mind becomes skilled at choosing what matters, resisting distractions, and acting with intention. The person who masters this habit finds that tasks once overwhelming become manageable, and the chaos of the day no longer dictates the pace of the mind. Every morning, the mind is like a garden, and the thoughts that enter it are seeds. Some are useful, clear, and strong. Others are weak, harmful, or distracting. If you do not guard these thoughts, the mind will quickly become overgrown with worry, fear, anger, and doubt. Guarding your thoughts is not about avoiding reality. It is about choosing what enters your awareness and what you allow to grow. The morning is the first opportunity to tend this garden, to remove weeds before they take root, and to cultivate clarity before distraction spreads. The mind naturally drifts toward judgment, comparison, and speculation. It notices what went wrong yesterday, what might go wrong today, and what others think about you. Without awareness, these thoughts multiply like uncontrolled vines, tangling themselves around your attention and energy. Guarding your thoughts means observing each one as it arises, questioning it, and deciding whether it deserves space in your consciousness. Not every thought is true, not every thought is helpful, and not every thought is necessary. The disciplined mind sees this clearly. Begin by asking simple questions of every thought. Is this useful? Does it guide me to act wisely or calmly? Is it true? If the answer is no, the thought should not remain. Do not argue with it endlessly. Do not feed it with fear or justification. Simply recognize it and let it pass. Thoughts that repeat or linger, especially those that pull you toward frustration or anxiety, are the ones that require the most attention. By catching them early in the morning, before the mind becomes overloaded with tasks and noise, you prevent them from shaping your entire day. Guarding your thoughts also means controlling the focus of your attention. If you wake and immediately dwell on the mistakes of the past, you anchor yourself to what cannot be changed. If you worry about the future, you anchor yourself to what is uncertain and uncontrollable. A person who guards their thoughts keeps the mind in the present, seeing what is real and responding to what is actionable. The ability to maintain this focus is not natural for most people. It requires constant practice, especially in the quiet of the morning before external pressures arrive. The mind must also guard against unnecessary comparisons. When you measure yourself against others, against achievements you do not yet have, or against imagined standards, you invite dissatisfaction and distraction. These thoughts may appear logical, but they are destructive. A disciplined mind recognizes that comparison does not serve action, clarity, or peace. By preventing these thoughts from taking hold in the morning, the mind begins the day with confidence in its own ability, rather than with envy, regret, or resentment. Guarding your thoughts is also about protecting emotional energy. Anger, impatience, and fear grow when unchallenged thoughts are allowed to dominate. A small irritation, left unchecked, can expand into hours of distraction. A minor worry can occupy attention meant for meaningful work. By noticing the first signs of these thoughts in the morning, you stop them before they gain momentum. This requires vigilance and honesty with yourself, a willingness to see your mind clearly and act with reason instead of emotion. Finally, guarding your thoughts allows the mind to act intentionally. Thoughts that are observed, questioned, and curated create clarity. With clarity comes deliberate action, calm responses, and steady focus. A mind that is unguarded moves reactively, pulled by every impulse, external event, and fleeting emotion. A mind that is guarded, especially from the first hour of the day, moves with purpose, discernment, and strength. This discipline, once practiced in the morning, carries through the hours, shaping decisions, interactions, and actions with consistent clarity and calm energy. Each morning, it is vital to remember your duty. Duty is not about recognition, comfort, or reward. It is about showing up, fulfilling your responsibilities, and acting rightly in the world you inhabit. The mind is naturally drawn to ease and avoidance, to comfort and distraction. Without a conscious reminder of duty, it will drift toward what is pleasant rather than what is necessary. Morning is the moment to realign with purpose, to remind yourself that your actions have meaning, and that each small effort contributes to the life you wish to live. Duty begins with self-discipline. It requires that you rise and meet the day even when your body is tired, even when your mind is restless. The first tasks of the morning are often the hardest to undertake because the mind clings to comfort and avoidance. A person who understands duty does not wait for motivation or desire. They act because action is the natural expression of responsibility. The mind that begins the day with purpose sets a tone of consistency, strength, and clarity that carries through every hour. Duty is also about honesty in action. It requires you to confront tasks without deception, excuse, or delay. When you act with honesty, you remove the hidden weight of half measures and pretense. Every morning offers opportunities to be honest with yourself, to face your limitations, to recognize what requires effort, and to engage fully with what you are capable of doing. Avoiding these truths weakens focus, scatters energy, and creates inner conflict. Acting honestly in the morning strengthens the mind's capacity to act steadily throughout the day. Responsibility extends beyond the self. Duty includes the people and tasks you serve, the commitments you have made, and the influence you wield through action. A person who remembers their duty recognizes that every choice affects more than themselves. Even small acts, if done with care and purpose, ripple outward. Morning reflection on these responsibilities anchors the mind, guiding attention toward what truly matters rather than trivial distractions. Each moment of awareness reinforces the connection between action and consequence. Purpose is closely tied to duty. To live without a sense of purpose is to drift through life, reacting to events rather than shaping them. Each morning, remind yourself who you wish to be. Consider the qualities you want to cultivate: discipline, patience, courage, clarity, and how your actions today contribute to them. Duty is the bridge between thought and action. It turns intention into reality. By orienting the mind toward purpose early, you create a framework in which focus is natural rather than forced. Duty also requires persistence. Challenges, interruptions, and resistance will appear, but the mind grounded in duty continues steadily. It does not pause for comfort or praise. It does not surrender to fatigue or frustration. Each morning practice of remembering duty strengthens this endurance. It builds a rhythm of action and attention that is not easily broken by the small trials of the day. Finally, duty is expressed in choice. Every moment offers options, but the person who begins with duty selects the path aligned with reason and responsibility. These choices may not be the easiest or the most immediately gratifying, but they are the ones that cultivate strength, focus, and integrity. Morning reflection clarifies these choices, ensuring that the mind moves with deliberate intention rather than drifting into distraction. Through repeated attention to duty each morning, the mind develops a natural sense of direction. Actions become purposeful, thoughts become disciplined, and focus arises naturally. The mind learns to prioritize what matters, to resist trivial interruptions, and to engage fully with each moment. Duty transforms ordinary mornings into opportunities to strengthen character, sharpen attention, and guide energy toward meaningful action every morning, the mind is vulnerable to forces it cannot easily control. Anger, frustration, and worry are the most common intruders, arriving quickly and often without reason. They pull attention away from what matters, cloud judgment, and drain energy before the day has properly begun. Learning to let go of these emotions is essential for focus. Letting go is not weakness, it is strength. It is the recognition that clinging to harmful feelings accomplishes nothing and only disrupts your ability to act with clarity. Anger arises when the mind believes it has been wronged or that events are unfair. It can be directed at others, at circumstances, or even at yourself. The moment you notice it, you face a choice to feed it or to release it. Feeding it only strengthens its grip, making it the center of attention and the driver of action. Releasing it requires awareness and effort. You acknowledge the irritation, understand that it does not serve your purpose, and shift focus back to what you can control. Every morning practicing this release prepares the mind to act calmly, rather than react destructively. Worry works in a similar way. It arises from imagining future difficulties, often exaggerating what may or may not happen. Worry occupies mental space intended for action. It convinces the mind that energy is needed to fight problems that do not yet exist. Each morning, remind yourself that the future is not here, and that present effort, reason, and preparation are sufficient. Letting go of worry is not denial, it is the practical allocation of attention toward what is actionable in the moment. By doing so, the mind becomes light, agile, and ready to engage with reality instead of shadows of possibility. Frustration appears when progress is slower than expected, or when outcomes do not match effort. It distracts the mind and diminishes effectiveness. Frustration grows when the mind believes it should control what it cannot. Recognizing this pattern is the first step to letting it go. Understand that events unfold according to circumstances beyond your complete control. Accept the situation, adjust your approach, and release the emotional weight that accompanies disappointment. In the morning, this practice reinforces patience and steadiness, allowing the mind to face the day without unnecessary turbulence. Letting go also requires the discipline of observation. Notice each emotion without immediate reaction. Do not judge yourself for feeling anger or worry. These are natural responses. The key is to prevent them from directing thought and action. Observe, label, and release. This repetition builds a mental habit that protects attention, preserves energy, and strengthens focus. Morning is the optimal time to reinforce this habit because the mind is fresh and impressions are not yet clouded by distractions and accumulated stress. Releasing harmful emotions is not a one-time act but a continual practice. It is likely that anger, worry, or frustration will return multiple times throughout the day. Each morning, you prepare the mind to face these intrusions with clarity and composure. By training the mind to let go early, you prevent the small irritations of life from expanding into larger distractions. You practice resilience, ensuring that focus is maintained even when events are challenging or unexpected. Finally, letting go is closely tied to purpose. When the mind clings to anger or worry, it forgets the reason for effort, the duty at hand, and the direction of the day. By releasing these emotions, the mind clears space for deliberate action, careful thought, and steady work. Morning practice of letting go strengthens the ability to maintain this clarity consistently, allowing energy and attention to flow toward meaningful effort rather than being scattered across unnecessary emotional turmoil. The person who masters this practice finds that even difficult days can be met with calm determination, and focus arises naturally without struggle. Every morning offers a choice: to act with commitment or to drift through the day. Doing your duty without complaint is not always easy. The mind naturally seeks comfort, avoids effort, and resists pain. Yet the measure of strength lies in persistence, not in ease. Duty is not dependent on mood, energy, or circumstance. It exists independently of how pleasant or convenient the moment may feel. To begin the day by committing to fulfill your responsibilities without complaint is to anchor the mind in purpose, clarity, and focus. Complaining is a subtle thief. It begins quietly with a thought: this is too hard, this is unfair, this is not my responsibility. Left unchecked, it grows louder and spreads to actions, slowing the body, clouding judgment, and weakening resolve. Complaint transforms simple effort into a burden far heavier than it is. The mind becomes occupied with resistance rather than action, and energy leaks into frustration instead of constructive work. Every morning that you recognize this tendency and refuse to indulge it strengthens self-discipline and trains the mind to respond to tasks with steadiness and efficiency. Doing your duty requires that you accept responsibility fully. It is easy to point to obstacles, blame circumstances, or shift accountability to others. A person who acts without complaint instead acknowledges reality, assesses what is required, and proceeds without delay. This acceptance is not resignation, it is clarity. The mind that understands its role, its tasks, and its responsibilities acts decisively. Morning is the perfect time to reaffirm this mindset, because it sets the tone for every decision, conversation, and action that follows. When the first thoughts of the day are grounded in responsibility, the mind resists distraction and moves toward deliberate effort. Effort itself can be uncomfortable. Some tasks require patience, repetition, or persistence. Some demand confronting mistakes or facing challenges that are unpleasant or intimidating. Complaints often emerge in these moments, convincing the mind that effort is too difficult or unfair. A disciplined mind, however, recognizes that discomfort is part of action, not an excuse to delay or avoid it. By meeting these moments without complaint, you strengthen resilience and cultivate a steady focus that is not shaken by temporary discomfort. Duty also connects to integrity. Completing tasks without complaint reinforces the alignment between thought, intention, and action. When you act consistently with your responsibilities, the mind becomes confident in its ability to perform and in the clarity of its choices. Confidence does not come from ease or praise, but from the knowledge that effort is applied consistently and rightly. Morning practice in this regard builds a foundation of reliability and self-trust, which naturally sustains focus throughout the day. Complaining is also a drain on the energy of those around you. Words of frustration, even subtle ones, influence others and create a cycle of tension and distraction. By choosing to act without complaint, you maintain a calm, clear, and purposeful presence. This clarity allows you to concentrate on the work itself rather than on unnecessary distractions, arguments, or emotional responses. The mind, free from complaint, is lighter, sharper, and more capable of sustained attention. Finally, doing your duty without complaint is closely tied to perspective. The mind that focuses on tasks without whining recognizes the difference between what is temporary and what matters. Minor discomforts, delays, or irritations are acknowledged but not amplified. Effort becomes an expression of strength rather than resistance. Morning reflection on this principle primes the mind to approach the day with discipline, patience, and steady resolve. Over time, this practice transforms the way the mind handles challenge, making focus an effortless habit rather than a constant struggle day. Each morning, it is essential to begin with purpose. Purpose is the guiding principle that shapes your actions, directs your energy, and organizes your thoughts. Without it, the mind drifts, pulled by distraction, desire, or habit. Purpose is not found in fleeting pleasure or immediate reward. It is discovered in understanding who you are, what you value, and what you are here to do. When the first moments of the day are spent reflecting on purpose, the mind gains clarity and focus, and every action that follows becomes deliberate rather than random. To live with purpose is to align every morning action with long-term intention. The tasks you choose, the words you speak, the effort you apply, all are expressions of this alignment. When you wake, ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? What qualities do I wish to strengthen? The mind that begins with these questions does not scatter across trivialities. Instead, it prioritizes what is meaningful, dedicates attention to what matters, and resists distractions that serve only fleeting impulses. This reflection transforms ordinary routines into deliberate practice, ensuring that even simple actions contribute to growth and clarity. Purpose also provides resilience. Life presents obstacles, delays, and interruptions. Without a clear sense of purpose, these challenges easily disrupt focus, drain motivation, and create frustration. But when the mind is rooted in purpose, every difficulty becomes an opportunity to act in accordance with values. Delays are not wasted time, mistakes are lessons, and resistance is a test of patience and persistence. Each morning reflection strengthens the ability to meet challenges without losing sight of what truly matters. The mind that understands its purpose can act steadily, even when the path is rough or the circumstances are unfavorable. Clarity comes from aligning intention with action. Many people spend the day reacting to events, drifting from one task to another, or giving energy to things that do not matter. A person with purpose starts the day by defining their direction. This definition is not vague or abstract. It is concrete, a commitment to act according to reason, to honor responsibilities, and to pursue meaningful effort. When the mind operates with this clarity, focus follows naturally. Distractions lose their power, hesitation fades, and effort flows where it has the greatest effect. Purpose also shapes decision-making. Every morning, small choices arise: where to direct attention, what task to start first, how to respond to difficulty. Without purpose, these decisions are influenced by mood, impulse, or convenience. With purpose, every choice is measured against what contributes to growth, duty, and deliberate action. The mind becomes an instrument of reason, selecting actions that support long-term goals instead of being hijacked by fleeting desires. This practice reinforces focus, because each choice builds upon the clarity established at the start of the day. The morning is especially powerful for cultivating purpose, because the mind is fresh and relatively free from accumulated distractions. The first moments of attention are like the foundation of a building. If they are strong, the structure that follows is stable. Reflecting on purpose at the start of the day sets priorities, organizes thought, and establishes a rhythm that carries throughout every hour. The mind learns to act intentionally, to resist idle impulses, and to measure effort against meaningful standards. Purpose also fosters patience. The mind that understands its path recognizes that progress is gradual. Effort applied consistently, with intention and focus, leads to mastery over time. This perspective prevents impatience, frustration, and the tendency to abandon tasks because results are not immediate. Each morning reflection on purpose reinforces the value of sustained attention, calm action, and steady effort. Finally, beginning with purpose is a reminder of responsibility. Your energy, attention, and choices are not random. They shape your character, influence those around you, and determine the quality of your day. By starting the morning with this awareness, the mind becomes oriented toward deliberate action. Each task, decision, and effort is measured against purpose, creating a natural focus that guides the day with clarity, strength, and intention.